Hello everybody, I'm Sarah, the Real Simple Mama. It's a humid day out here with some complaining chickens, and we're going to complain and give you some really natural, fun, easy solution for keeping flies out of your chicken run. Good morning everybody. So this video is going to be kind of random, especially since I have like the complaint department following me around. So whether you live in a hot, humid climate like I'm in zone 8, which is South Texas in the United States, when you've got chickens, there's going to be flies, right? Yes, thank you, Mavis Dracula. There's going to be flies, and by flies I'm talking about house flies, horse flies, mosquitoes, all kinds of bugs that are just annoying. Now, I've done content before that talks about that there's not really a huge danger of these being around. It's not like we need to worry about, you know, your chickens getting malaria or anything like that. But I mean, flies are annoying. They're gross, they're dirty, they're just nasty, they're annoying, right? And when you've got animals that live outside and they poop outside and their food is outside and all of those things, you're going to have those pests. So I've been looking over the last few weeks at some natural, just really easy, low effort, low cost remedies to keep flies away from your chicken run and out of your chicken coop. And so we're going to try a couple of those remedies. The first one, I actually don't have one to show you right now, but it's the bags of the fly bait. That it's a disposable bag that you buy. It has the fly bait in it that is activated when you fill it up with water. And so you fill up, it's about the size of a gallon Ziploc. These things are not expensive. And you're going to hang it up with that nasty, stinky bait to attract the flies. Now, here's the problem with this method and why I don't have one right now. The problem is that it is attracting flies. You're just trying to attract them to a specific spot. Does that make sense? So instead of the flies being all over your chicken run, you're trying to attract them to one area. Now, what's nice about it is it's very low effort. They're very inexpensive. They're like $3, $5 maybe. And you fill it up with water, like I said, and you hang it in a location, and then the flies are going to go to that location. Now, what I will have you keep in mind is, number one, it is a fly attractant. So if you don't have any flies in your chicken run at all, if it's not a problem, chickens in the pool, the first thing to keep in mind is that this one is a fly attractant. It is attracting flies. So if you don't have any flies right now, don't buy one of these because it's going to be attracting flies. The other thing is you need to have a good idea of where you're going to hang this thing. So you don't want to hang it right by your back door. You don't want to hang it in the middle of your chicken run. You want to think of either the opposite end of your yard or maybe the far corner of your chicken run, because this stuff stinks, but it does work. So it is an effective method if you've already got flies, but I don't have one right now because the humidity is just so bad and I don't want to smell that when the wind blows the wrong way. Our fly problem right now is pretty, I don't want to say it's non-existent, but it's not a bother at all. So I didn't want to bother with those. But the first one is, and I'll have affiliate links down in the video description if you want to see what I'm talking about, but it's the disposable fly bait traps. That's just a bag. It's a one-way bag. The flies go in to get to the stinky liquid and then they can't get out. The next method that I have tried, it's really cheap. It's worked for years. And it's just like the most random, like who figured this out, is that you buy the little trees that, yes, these are the air fresheners for your car, and you can buy as many of them as you want, but you need to have the vanilla scent. Okay, this one's called Vanilla Rama. Okay, you want only the vanilla one. So we're not doing black ice, we're not doing mint, we're not doing anything else. It needs to be the vanilla one. And you can get as many of them as you want, and you just hang them all over the place. The only downside, well, I guess there's two downsides. The only downsides with these is, first of all, they can't get wet. You don't want them to get wet. So you could tuck them in to your chicken coop. You could tuck them into shady places. You could put them around near where your chicken's food is. But you want to have these to where they're not going to get wet. And the other thing is, you know, over time, the smell is going to disappear. But I can get a 5-pack of these, you know, at the dollar store. And they're very, very cheap. You can hang as many of them as you want. But like I said, you just don't want them to get wet. So those are two methods that we use right now. The other method that I want to talk about real quick, and then we'll continue to move on. I love that tail wag. Oh, that's the cutest thing. Is you can make a deodorizing spray. And then I've got one more suggestion for you before I go on to another video clip. A deodorizing spray is something, what stinks about this is obviously it only works when you're out using it. It's not like going to work for days and days and days without you doing anything. But it's a really easy mix. I did a video here a while back, but basically the recipe is you're going to get a spray bottle. You're going to fill it half with white vinegar and half with filtered water. okay, so that your bottle's almost full. And then at that point, you can use essential oils of your choice. I like to use lemon, mint, and lavender. I know that that combination of lemon, mint, and lavender may sound totally disgusting, but number one, I think it smells good. And those are 3 essential oils that are all kinds of bug deterrents. It helps with spiders, it helps with flies, it helps with lots of stuff. On that, don't buy the expensive essential oils. You don't need to. My store, HEB, they make their own brand and it's fine. You're not ingesting this. No one's ingesting it. It's fine. You don't want to spray this like on the chickens. Spray it in the coop and around once the chickens are out for the day, like right now. And pooping on camera, sorry. But like I said, it's only going to last for a day or two after you spray it. You are going to have the white vinegar smell initially, but that will evaporate and that smell will go away. The other thing to remember before we keep talking is that chickens have almost no sense of smell. So while you don't want to spray your chickens with it, of course, you also don't need to worry about them like, maybe they don't like the smell of it or they're not going to lay eggs, because no, chickens, their sense of smell and their sense of taste is pretty much non-existent. So that's why they're able to eat raw garlic and raw chili powder and like all kinds of other stuff. So don't worry about what the chickens think about the smell. The final thing I'll suggest before we go into another silly remedy that I'm trying is if you have a rake or if you can mulch or do things outside with your chicken run and wherever your chickens have their droppings, that will also really help with flies. One of the best things you're ever going to buy for your chicken run is just a cheap little rake. And even if you're not raking up the poop and like you're picking it up and throwing away, even if you're literally just agitating and just like moving around the droppings, you're moving around the dirt in the ground, that will help it break down faster. As much as you can be coming out and just moving stuff around, rake it up, add in new material. Again, I don't ever remove poop or remove material from out here on the ground, out over here. I just don't have the time and I've never found it to be necessary. But if you can be moving it around, adding material, stuff like that, that will help with the fly control as well. Another method that I heard about this year that I've never tried and I'm going to try is using Irish Spring. I know there's construction noises, so I'll be brief. But the original Irish Spring, yes, this clean smelling like bright green soap. And there's a couple of different things that I've read about that you can do with it. Now, obviously, this is not something we want our chickens to ingest or anything like that. But you can either just open up you can even just take the plastic wrap off of the box so that you can smell that Irish Spring clean. You can just leave the bar out somewhere indoors, inside the coop, somewhere where it's going to be just, you can smell it in the area. I've even heard of people like, it sounds like an Old Testament like blessing, like taking the Irish Spring and rubbing it in the doorway. So I'm going to do that here and just rubbing some around. And then I'm going to end up just placing the rest of the bar just inside the coop. So we're going to see if this helps deter flies. This is one of those things that's like, this bar of soap was less than $1 and I don't mind the smell. So this is like a 0 risk factor for me, right? Like there's absolutely no problem with me trying this. There's no danger to my chickens. Hopefully it's an awesome fly deterrent. Wouldn't that be funny? But even if it doesn't work, I mean, so, okay, now I have a bar of soap that's slightly used that I don't know what to do with. But other than that, like, there's no risk to my flock. So I'm going to be rubbing this around in a couple of, like, common traffic areas, and then I'll just lay the rest of the bar somewhere inside. And this could be something where, you know, you set a timer on your phone or in your chicken tenders journal that you want to make sure that a month from now you come back out and reapply it. But certainly as things start getting a lot hotter and the chickens are out, and the flies are a big annoying problem, I'm willing to try it. So let's see what you guys think of the Irish Spring method.